Hello everyone! Welcome for this new and first episode of Timeout from Tamriel. First episode live, but it's a 20 episode that we have done.
28, ain't it?
Yes, 28, yes, sorry.
Hey, that went smoother than I expected, the transition.
Yeah, we are experimenting things, guys.
Technical difficulties may ensue, so welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Howdy, what's up?
Yay! You see, we have... No, here. No,
Somewhere.
Here. There. We have a sick trick. Or here.
Yeah, so thanks for joining. We've been out for a while, so today what we're going to talk about is what we've been doing in gaming outside of the Elder Scrolls Online.
During those 2 last year.
Yeah, two years. We experimented with some games. But how about Aloha? What about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, well, I've been about many things, lot of change in real life and in game. So the game I've been playing were Black Desert, Arcade, bit of World of Warcraft. This is my cat. Final Fantasy 14. Destiny 2, and Elder Scrolls, of course. I never left Elder Scrolls. I've always regularly played, but maybe not.
You didn't rage
much.
quit and like bury your Templar, did you?
I rage quit my Templar, but not the game.
I had to go get my shovel out and dig it back up. So there's that.
When I rage quit my Templar, it was a long time before yours, and for other reasons. What about you, Sigtree?
What's your favorite game right now? Not ESO. What's your favorite game?
Right now, it's Final Fantasy 14. Because it brings really this feeling of community. People are extremely nice. It's a game where you really have a true sense of progression. It has a very large variety of activities, and as a healer, and I'm a healer fan, it's more classical. It's more the classical way of healing, which I prefer. I feel that healer has more importance in that game than in ESO. In ESO, you need to DPS more, and that frustrates me. So I like to have several spells and to just use them,
just to heal, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like basically you're just you're best a buff and beam person, basically. It seems like. Now,
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like Final Fantasy 14, from everything I've heard and watched, is like really PvE heavy.
Yes, you have a little side of PvP, but it's not really about that. I think it's mostly PvE, and you also have a large part of social aspects. Well, you have a lot of emotes and cute outfits and little housing.
Okay, so I'd probably hate it.
I don't know. You might like some aspect of it, and some aspect you will not like.
Well, does it have good fashion? Because let's be real, fashion's endgame, and that's kind of where ESO has me.
Look and play good.
Yeah, you look good, you play good, you get 10, and then you jump around. That's like another +5 damage. I mean, you're.
Well, if
All
you
right,
want to play the fashion game, Final Fantasy is certainly a good game.
Okay. Sig, what about you?
Well, after the last time we did this, I kind of broke away from ESO for a little bit, took a break, played just an insane amount of the first Destiny game. Got caught up on a lot of single-player stuff that I missed, over the years because I've been playing MMOs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And here recently, outside of ESO, it's been a whole lot of Destiny 2 for the most part.
Now, what do you think about Destiny 2?
I like it. I think that they kind of held on to a lot of the stuff that they needed to and changed a lot of the things that they needed to. It's not without its problems, but I think it's in a better place than a lot of people give it credit for right now. And it's still, like, I played it on PS4 for a bit. I've been playing it on PC here lately, and they just did an amazing job translating the feel of the game from console to PC. It's so smooth, the shooting's tight. And you can go in there and pay attention to what you're doing and have fun, or you can kind of use it as a chill, just blow everything up game too. So I've been enjoying it for that reason.
Yeah, and I played Destiny 2, obviously. I didn't...
Me too.
Like, I was so far behind in the content. You know, everyone else knew the game. I was just... And I'm terrible at console. But what I liked about it, I'll tell you what I liked about it, is basically you could play solo, have a lot of fun. There was a lot of story. It was like basically what I wanted Mass Effect to be. Kind of like a shooter sci-fi MMO. The problem I had with it was when I got to endgame, there was like very little incentive to continue playing. Like, I sit here and complain about the hamster wheel that is MMOs, yet when I don't have the hamster wheel, I'm like, I need something to keep running. It's like now we take ESO here. What I've liked, and I know this is a later topic, but I tell you what, that trait change thing, that changed my life. It changed my life. It makes it, okay, you have to do a little grind, but it's not over the top where Destiny was like, I got to endgame, okay, there's no PvP leaderboards. Not that I'm going to be on it, I suck. But something to aspire to. You know what I mean? And then the PvE was great. The raids were great. And it was like, man, God, if this Mass Effect would have been like this. But the problem was, you didn't want to go right back in there because, like, well, our weekly rewards are done. What's the point? There's no leaderboard. Right? You know, like the very first time you complete Dragonstar Arena. I mean, I'm walking around my house, shirt off, flexing the gun. I'm like, dude, I beat Dragonstar Arena, and I go right back in there and do it again and again and again. Right?
Yep.
And the hamster wheel. You got to be careful with the hamster wheel. You don't want to be too far over, but you don't want there to be no incentive or a weekly incentive.
I can understand if it's really your main game and you want to play only that, but if you play Destiny alongside other game, I think the pass is really good, because for me that's play 4 different games, well, let's say 3, it's kind of nice. I never do all the weeklies. I just jump in the game, I'm rejoicing at the beauty, it's so gorgeous, it's amazing, and I love the Vex. And so what I like in this game is that it's a shooter game. It's very different for me. It's a shooter game that I can do because I'm not really good otherwise, but here it's fine. I can have it in hand. And it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a different environment. The music is awesome. So it's a nice change from other MMORPG I'm playing.
Yeah. And it's like you can get into it right away, but when you suck at something, it's just not as fun for me, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people that they've been playing shooters for 15 years, they're God's gift to shooters. I'm like, don't want to invest the time and energy to, you know.
Yeah. It's just because you're PvP, right?
Right, and I'm like Garbo.
I'm not going like there. I'm
like getting carried. I'm like, they're turning the corner shooting. They're saying all these weird things. I'm like, but I'll tell you what it did give me, is perspective that I needed. I was like, okay, so people look to me when they feel like this. I'm like, okay, I feel like this. I don't like feeling like this for I don't know what. I'm the weak link. I'm the crappy player. I'm like, okay, so it gave me some perspective and some motivation to be like, look, you got to make guides for people that need it, not the 1%ers. No one gives a crap about that. The 1%ers don't need guides, but I tell you what I played is I played a crap ton of Fallout 4. Now, you know, I went through my little couple month thing. I had to get off the pain pills, and you know, the Fallout 4, still to this day, I can pick that game up and it's just a riot, and I just don't want to stop playing because it's like, you know, I'm not an RPer, you know that, Aloha, but it's so immersive. Like, every little action that you do has a ripple effect. It's not a perfect game, but like if I go nuke down, you know, a certain faction, then these guys hate me. And then every environment, every little encounter that I walk across does that. So it's like your own world, you know what I mean? And like when you're not feeling good or things aren't going well, it's like, I don't want to deal with other people, dude. I just want to log in, shoot my little flare up, you know, nuke down some super mutants. Life's good. And for me, Fallout 4 is that game. And I played Mass Effect Andromeda. It's probably my favorite series of all time, but I was really disappointed in that game. You know, there was no, like, they didn't take the game and improve upon it. That's what I wanted them to do. And for me, it was like a big disappointment that they didn't really improve upon it. So, but yeah, another thing about Destiny is the social aspect of games. Now,
indeed.
Well, go ahead, Loa.
Yes, it's Georgia. Hey, Georgia, which is bringing this point. I say, so I can get into Destiny 2 because of the lack of social aspect, and that's something I just experienced it today. You don't have a clan chat. It's hard to speak with people in your fire team on PC at least, because you don't have this console attitude of getting into the voice chats, and this is really an aspect that I don't like to this game, and this underline once more the importance of social aspect in video games, and that's why Final Fantasy is working so well, or a game like ESO is kinda working in between. It's when you can build up a social aspect and an answer with people. That's what make games so important. That's why you stick to them, don't you think?
Yeah, and you really, I mean, on PC, you have to rely on, like Discord and your group of people coming together probably outside of the game, because meeting other players inside of the game is pretty tough because of the lack of communication on the PC side. But that said, I mean, for me, that puts that and some other aspects of Destiny 2, it puts it in a good place for me as far as using it as that filler game that you're doing in between other things. Yeah. I don't feel, beholden to people that I run with in the game. Like I have to always be there, which is nice. And then because of the quick in and out, kind of nature of the game itself, if you don't play for a month and, like they just came out with the DLC and it raised the power level. If you don't play for a month, you can easily jump back in there and make up the power levels that you missed fairly quickly. I mean, when I started last night, my Titan was at like 270 something, and he's sitting at 305 right now, and that's after like 3 hours of play. So it's a great game, on that side, because you can just kind of get in, do what you want to do, and then you can put it down for a while. And I don't feel like I have to load it up every day to stay relevant in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the punishing. Like you got to play every day to get your gear and stay. There has to be that fine line, right? And Destiny 2 is a good point where it's like I can pick it up, get level, I can play for a couple hours and put it down. But for me, it was like the quick plays, and there was like no leaderboard. There was no like end game in sight for me. So it's like, well,
I think that Elder Scrolls Online also have a little bit that aspect, at least for me, where it has also like Delta explained that you were not motivated to play Destiny because you do not have this progression thing. I have that a little bit with ESO. I play it like a tourist, I'm coming, I'm doing my little story, I know that I could grind my level, but why doing it? My favorite content is overworld content. I don't need the power, my character is ready. I can do everything I want with her. So I do not really have a project like make me want to play. Oh yes, I need to do this, I need to do my dailies because do that, you see?
But ESO has like a confusion on their end game too. It's like, and they're not bagging on it. It's like, does it want to be a PvP game or does it want to be a PvE game? And then it locks like some content behind paywalls, so very little of the population can do it. Like when I left, I'm like, okay. I'm like, why aren't people playing Battlegrounds? And someone said, well, you have to buy the Morrowind DLC. I'm like, well, doesn't everyone just have that? No. Actually, quite a bit. So you have something like Battlegrounds, which I was really looking forward to. I'll be queuing 30, 45 minutes and no one plays. I'm like, you're telling me on PC NA there's not 12 people that want to do this right now? Like, that's discouraging. It's like, what's the end game? Do I go in Cyrodiil? And, that's kind of what it is. But it's still fun. I think if a game, like game companies, like after the creation, I know something I'm looking forward to, they get too ambitious in their goals and projects. Pick one thing and do it really, really well, right?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Pick one thing. Final Fantasy 14. Everyone who's ever told me about it said the PvE is fantastic. They never say anything about the PvP. That's fine. I don't care. But do housing really well. Just do one thing. Apple has made their entire business model off of doing one thing really, really well. I like that. So if you try to do everything really, really well, it kind of is like, well, what's your game? What's your direction? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we can see two different trends at the moment in the gaming community or the gaming industry. you have more and more games that try to find this niche aspect. So they want to target one type of gamer and not everyone in the world, because that's impossible. And that's what people have tried to do for decades, or no, not for decades, for just 1 decade or maybe 5 years after World of Warcraft and the success. Everyone wanted to replicate what World of Warcraft did, and now people are getting away from that, and Destiny is a good example. It's a shooter game that does this and that, and they're not trying to do everything. Then you have all those old school indie MMORPG that's going, and Ashes of Creation is also an indie MMO. They just have quite, the funds to be, but they are indie. It's a gamer that wanted to do his dream game. Saga of Lucimia, it's the same thing on a totally different type of level. Ash of Creation is more PvP, more all those kind of construction destruction aspect. Saga of Lucimia, it's pure Dungeon and Dragon simulized on virtual environments, so it's totally different. And you have Pantheon, which try to recreate EverQuest, and you have this trend of going back to the roots of the genre, because this is lacking to the MMORPG.
I think that's what gamers want. And personally, you have games like BD, like the Asian MMOs, and you say whatever you want about them. We'll talk about it in a second, but they try something different. Like harkens back to like Ultima Online, where when you died, that was a big consequence. Mm-hmm. And consequences matter in life, and they also matter in gaming. And here's why. I remember playing Warhammer Online. When your guild got a keep, it wasn't like, okay, we got to keep, this is great. It was like, I'm getting a phone call on a rotary phone. It was probably that far back ago. You got to come on. You got to get off work right now. We need you to all right, I'm sick, bro. I got to go. I mean, it was like your guild mattered. Players mattered. You didn't need some AAA sandbox to tell you how to play your game. And, I'm not saying that ESO isn't that, but it was like they tried different things. Some of it failed, some of it succeeded. And I think what's happening is just like movies. When a good movie comes out, a Marvel superhero movie, what happens? You get them for 10, 20 years, right? Asteroid movie, 10, 20. Well, once they find a way, what does the market want? They're just going to saturate it over and over and over.
Yeah.
But eventually people are going to go, all right, I'm done with the theme park. I'm done with the AAA. Can you give me some organic, like player run stuff, And I think that's what we're seeing right now is that ground level of where it's like, because what's on the horizon of MMOs besides indie ones?
Yeah, I don't think there is much, right? Everything is indie. Crowfall is indie. You have maybe...
What is there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's really nice is that now they really try to not please everyone. And that's something that players need to understand, because sometimes players do not really understand that. If you don't like the game, it's okay. You don't need to like the game. There's plenty of other game to play. If you're tired of ESO, World of Warcraft, or whatever, you don't need to vent your frustration about your tiredness of the game. You just go see another game that suits you better. And I think I've really learned to do that, to just try to embrace and love the game for what they are and not for what I wish them to be. So I'm in the mood of playing ESO, I'm going there, and yes, there's problem, but I'm not focusing on that. I'm just enjoying what nice things it brings to me. And if it annoys me, I'm playing something else. There's plenty of game for me to choose from, It's like at a buffet in a wedding. You can pick up what you want. You can be picky. That's what we can be picky now. There's enough good games.
That's true. Yeah, there's a lot of good games, but it's the same. It's like the same rehash. And speaking of the same rehash, so when I was like doing my thing for a couple months, kind of playing out a couple different games, it's just so sad how the gaming industry goes. And I'm gonna go on a rant here, but look, it's a business. I'm in a business. All right. I want to make money. I want to support my family. I get that. Hey, sponsor me, subscribe to me. I get it. All that. The loot crate thing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. It's in every effing game.
Yep.
I go play John Madden football. I've been playing that game since 1995. Like, yeah, I'll go play with my friend in the army. You know, we'll have a little season online. Boom, pop up. It's just like I can't play one game without trying to be exploited. You know, and it's not like, I get it. You got to make your money. I get it, but what happens is they're inching. They were inching towards, okay, how far can we push it before gamers actually quit? Right? How much crap can we try to sell them? Can we do a little cosmetic? Okay, we got away with that. Can we do a little weapon? Yeah, okay, we got away with it. Can we do a little XP? Oh, you know what I mean? And then it was kind of just like, every game's like, F it. Let's just do everything. I'm not saying Elder Scrolls Online does that, because they're crown crates for, you know, I've made videos about them. They're funny, but there's no really pay to win thing in there. So whatever. They do a terrible job, in my opinion, on the crates, and here's why. There's no like super exclusive thing in there. Like Star Wars Old Republic, say whatever you want about the game, I still love it, even though all its flaws, like the Revan mask. When their crates or whatever came out, there was a Revan mask there, and I said to myself, I would go give blood to get this Revan mask. I would sell a testicle to get this Revan mask. I don't care what. I'll black market my kidney. I'm getting that Revan mask. Okay, so I got exploited like crazy. I spent hundreds of dollars like a meatball, right? So yeah, I mean, you got to get it. Lipstick ain't cutting it for me. But the game industry seems like they just kind of inched and inched and inched. How far can we get away with this?
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on that?
I really don't like that. But I will let's Citrix talk, because I have speak a lot.
I mean, at their base, the buying a loot box thing. There's a line where, on one hand, it's fine if you can earn them in the game without having to spend any money, to some extent. And this really pains me to say this, but Blizzard got this right in Overwatch. You can earn the loot boxes that they sell for cash in game just by playing it. Mm-hmm. That's the right way to get it done. If you can't do that, it's predatory. It's absolutely predatory, and that Revan mask is a great example. They put things in these boxes that they know people are going to want, and then have no hard and fast price on them. You may get it, you may blow a couple $100, you may blow $1,000 and never get it. It's predatory. And what really pisses me off is when they stick them in a single player game. In an online game, where there's an MMO, there's an end, but there's no end in sight, if you understand what I mean. The game is perpetual. It goes until they kill the servers. It makes a little bit more sense there. In a game where it's like you've got 30 hours of story time and then the game is over, a loot box to me that you pay cash for does not make any sense in that environment at all.
I agree. I'm glad that the EA scandal happened, because now you have some law that's maybe going to be in place, and they will have to drop this. People will start to react. I think they went a little bit too far. Maybe that game will serve for the whole industry, because I think it went too far. Gambling in a game, I think when it's fun, when it's in-game for in-game gold, it's okay, because you have the choice of what you're doing. But when it's for in-game money, that's dirty. I've always said that it's dirty. It's not nice. Some people are really addicted to this. They will put money in money in money. If you're rich, okay, fine. But when you're not, and you're still addicted to it, and you will use all your paycheck on trying to get a stupid mount or a mask or whatever. And let's not talk about the semi-pay-to-win aspect that you can have in other game, or even in Elder Scrolls. It's kind of flirting to it, because when you have the possibility to earn motifs and stuff like that, and the drop rate in game is very low, that's flirting with it. It's not exactly honest, I think. And I really hope they will change, because we could explore other avenues for players to fund the games. I am not greedy. I want to support the game I play. Why not make a sort of Kickstarter campaign all the time? Like, guys, this DLC or this DLC, which one you prefer? Fund it, and the one that has the more funds will be developed. Something like this. it will be more exciting because you will see, it's kind of nice. Why not do something like this? We can imagine so many different ways which will be more honest and where people will more willingly share their money and still enjoy the game for what it should be, a game.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But I mean, we honestly do serve, and that's why I don't like making the Crown Crate videos, $50, but because I don't want to support it. But the thing with EA was good because gamers actually influenced an outcome, right? Like we said, no, we're done with this. We're done with your game. We want to so that's a good sign that if you don't want it, you don't want it. Everyone has to make a living. Everyone has to make money. I'm not saying you can't do that. It's your game. Do whatever you want with it. But it's just sad that every single game I play, a sports game, I mean, what do you think? You're going to start selling me packs in solitaire for new solitaire cards? You can get a 10 of spades and it looks amazing. Just 10s of spades. Just 10s of spades. So that's what I have. Now, I think we should switch it to a positive note. So I was been 2 years Imperial City since the last time we did an episode.
Yes, indeed. So we've never talked about Orsinium, Thieves Guild, Homestead, or One Tamriel. Do you imagine that?
So I was basically skinny, got fat, got skinny again. So there's that. All right. So since that's happened, let's talk about why we quit or why I quit. Basically, I was, we had a son, Maximus, and the plan was my wife's going to take care of him for 4 months, and I was going to take care of him for pretty much the rest of the time. But we decided to put him in daycare, and so just to get him some social skills, because I'm just too nice. I don't know. There's some of them daycare ladies. They just hear crying babies all day, and they don't bother them. I mean, there's a difference between being injured and hurt and all that stuff, and just fussing. So that's why I came back and started doing the stuff. Is that the life plans change, but me personally, going back to earlier in the conversation, is like once I do too many things, more than like one or two things, they're all trash. I'm gonna be honest. Like if I try to stream, make videos, do Patreon, do podcast, it all starts sucking. So it's like if I can narrow my focus and do like one or two things and do it well, it works. And for me, I just bit off more than I can chew, and I had to cut things off, and I disappointed myself that I cut this off because, God, we had a lot of fun, And so yeah, that was my bad.
No, don't worry. It was difficult for all of us to organize this, and so now we are back. That's all that matters.
We're back.
We are back.
So, the game has changed. So last Imperial City. Now, speaking of Imperial City, okay, here we go. One of the cooler things in the game, but one of the least played. I mean, you're talking about it comes and it goes. When the Imperial City celebration comes out and they give whatever more AP, XP, Telvar, whatever, people go crazy and play it. It's an awesome environment. It's awesome. It's like Cyrodiil, but smaller. It's just without siege. It's when it first came out, it was great. Remember the Nuggets? We went down there and zerged everyone, spawned their camp. I mean, we had so much fun down in there. And then it's just dead.
I had fun on the PTS.
You never played it since then?
No. A little bit, but just the months of release. Never put my feet since ages. I don't do PvP. Every time I try, I'm disappointed. But that's because I'm not good, but I'm not motivated to learn.
Okay. So what about you, Say? What about Imperial City?
Imperial City, the content, the actual Imperial City content is awesome, but that was the same patch that made me step away from the game because the combat balance changes at the time completely wrecked my playstyle. Something that I, because me, back then I had never really done the whole min-maxing thing, but at the same time, I was working on my own, kind of unique way to play my Nightblade. I was playing PvP a bunch, and the combat changes that happened with that patch just completely wrecked, the 6 months of work that I put into that Nightblade, and it didn't play the same at all. So I stepped away. But I started playing the game again about a year later. After seeing, all the different single-player stuff that I had missed, or some of it anyway. I'm still trying to get through a backlog of, games and stuff, but started playing again about a year later, and, went in for the first IC anniversary, saw it for the first time, basically, outside of the bits and pieces that I saw during the PTS and whatnot. And, the content there is amazing. I love going in there. But that problem of not having other people in there, on opposite teams or on your team.
Yeah, you're just farming gold. You're just farming gold. That's
so. At points I'd get in there, and farm key fragments or Telvar to buy shit. But that's more strategic, I guess. PvP play that happens in there is phenomenal when it's going on. So I've really enjoyed it, and we went back in, again for the second anniversary event, I think it was. Might have been a different PvP event, I don't remember anymore. My memory is crap these days, but I dig it. I like it. And I wish they would figure out a way to get more people in there more regularly.
My favorite DLC is Orsinium, the one that just came after Imperial City. I find it really, really good.
Orsinium?
Orsinium is the best one. That's why...
Goddamn VMA, I hate that place. Lost my month of my life. And
I'm not speaking about the Maelstrom right now. I'm speaking about the story, the way they build the zone. And this is, and I have repeated that many times, this is the DLC that makes them create chapters. And chapters are created around this model because they saw the success that Orsinium had. This large zone with a very good storyline, a lot of side quests. You have world bosses that are actually difficult. They have delves and public dungeon, and people were really enjoying this kind of content. They see how good it was. It was also the first time it was really scaling in a PvE zone. They used Orsinium to create one Tamriel and Morrowind.
And what I'll say about the Orsinium DLC, there was incentive like a mother to play it, right? The motives were badass. Mm-hmm. So you had little derpy Deltia actually running around doing the I'm like, I gotta get that Trinamax, bro. I gotta get that So you had reason to group up because, like what you just said, the group delves. I mean, you could solo them after a while or whatever, but it was like, okay, this is kind of just a pain in the ass. Might as well get people together. They had actually really good grinding spots. One for gold for Jurax. They had, I know you don't do that, but they had these crows you could kill over and over. Then you had another spot that was really good for XP. Then you had VMA, which, say what you want about it.
Oh no, I'm glad that it exists for people that want to do it. It's cool.
I'm not a fan of the solo play, but like when it came out, I literally woke up, grabbed a Mountain Dew and some coffee cake, and no wonder I was fat. Grabbed a Mountain Dew and an entire coffee cake, crushed it, 8 hours in there, 12 hours in there. It was a blast, but I lost a month of my life. I came out looking like the bomber with the beard almost, I mean, so it's one of those things that it was good, but I was like, more multiplayer, even if it's two people. But some people to this day still love it.
Yeah, I actually came to the VMA scene way late. I never touched it, didn't care, whatever. Again, because wasn't a min-maxer. And then when the Rothgar anniversary, the first one happened, and they did double drops, I was like, maybe this is time that I get in there. And started to learn it at the time, and I didn't get my clear during that event. I think I rage quit VMA, and I went back in maybe 6 months later and got my first clear. And now I still struggle with it. I'm not the best at VMA, but I can reliably go in there and if I sit down and say I'm gonna go start VMA and finish it, I'll get it done. And I like it for a couple reasons. I think that the idea behind it is really cool. It still challenges me, and even though I play MMOs for that multiplayer social aspect, I still need solo stuff that I can do in the game when nobody's on, or when I want to play ESO but I don't feel like really talking to anybody.
Right.
You know, so I've been using it for that, and I mean, it's VMA in itself. It's got its troubles that need to be addressed, but you know, I still enjoy it. So.
Oh, I think it keeps busy a lot of people, and not everyone like to group. So you have the trial for people that want to do 12-man content, and the way they balance things out right now. You have the veteran one that are super difficult for the hardcore people, with hard modes for the hardcore of the hardcore people. You have the normal one that's, you know, but let's speak about that. Citric, I think it's good. You have posted on Twitter not long ago the reason why you create Skull, your guild. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so, you know, I played the game, basically started, you know, in one of the early betas, played...
As a Nord pug.
Yeah, exactly. Played, you know, up through Icy, took a year off, came back, you know, summer of... what would that have been? Summer of 16?
Possible.
Or summer of 15. I don't remember anymore. But, you know, kept doing my own thing, and... It was during the Witches Festival, the Halloween event last year, when I was like, you know what, I want to see a different aspect of this game, and started creating characters that, you know, I was actually pushing for performance with. And got a few places and met some people and got an invite to what I was told at the time was Veteran Dungeons, and it turned out it was a Theron Archive.
Oh.
Went in there and, you know, we did AA, we did HRC, and then a couple months later, I got another invite to go try Maw of Lorcage. We didn't get the clear in there, but, you know, we got to the last boss. And outside of those three events, I had never seen a trial. At that point, I had never even seen the inside of DSA. So it was mostly all, you know, dungeons and vet dungeons. And I was like, you know, talking to people who were running trials that I knew and stuff like that, and what I discovered, something that I pretty much already knew but hadn't experienced for myself, is that the trials guilds are really closed off. You have to know somebody, you have to post a certain number, and you have to know how to do the trial. And if you're not hitting one of those three things, it's really tough to get in and learn. And that was the real big thing, was that if you don't know, finding somebody that's going to teach you how to do it is really tough. And I got fed up with it and decided, you know, I had a little bank guild, you know, just a guild that I created to hold items in a bank, and scrapped it, made a new guild, invited a bunch of friends with the premise that we're all going to go in and learn these trials together. And that was, I think I opened it up to recruiting on the ESO forums on the 14th of August. And we're sitting at about 100 people right now, give or take. And we run trials right now, normal trials, every Friday night. And we're crushing them. We've got a normal clear on every trial in the game now.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, and we're setting our sights towards vet trials. And I'm actually in with a group of people that run vets on Monday nights, sometimes Tuesdays and Fridays as well. So, you know, I'm getting my vet trials in early in the week, and then running my guild on Friday nights late, and having a freaking blast doing it. So it's been a lot of fun.
Nikki and myself, we have started to organize that with the stream as well on every Wednesday. So it's just normal trials, but open up for anyone. There's no requirement. You just need to be a nice person and have some potion and food and repair your gear, you know, the basic. And you jumped in. We did the Asylum Sanctorium the last week with level 50. It just started the game. It was, you know, his first character, and joined us, and it was fun. It was really cool. And I think that's nice to open up a little bit this kind of activity and allow new people to learn and enjoy themselves. So many people are scared to participate.
Well, I mean, this game revolves around damage per second. Let's be real here. It's like the most damage per second, and if you don't post a big DPS, you have a little you-know-what, and, you know, life is bad, and you should go in the corner. I mean, people overreact about that. And I've played with some elite players, and I don't really consider myself a 1% or anything, but some of the most elite players die the most. and then bitch about the healing and have macros and run sheets and scripts. So it depends on what's most valuable to you. I think Sig took it a good way. Is like some of these guilds are so unapproachable that it's like, dude, really, this is a video game. And that's why I hate trials. I hate it. And I hate the fact that like some of the best PvP gear and PvE gear is into that, because it's so hard to get 12 people that are not complete nut jobs together to do an hour, 2 hours, especially 3 hours if you're trying to learn it. And then once you learn it, then once you beat it, people quit. So it's like, we're segueing in here into like what we're doing in the game right now. But for me, I never found that group that I could reliably play with at a normal time, because I play during the day in America. So it's
yeah, you should come in Europe,
I know, right? But it was like everyone's like, oh my god, I don't. Yes, my life's over. It's like, you know what, bro? I'll just go Zerg. I mean, let's be real. I'm gonna enjoy my game, but I think that's great that Sig and other. I wish I could do that. I just don't have the patience, to be honest with you, because it's like, for me, it doesn't fulfill that thing. What I like out of video games is what PvP gives me in this game. Mm-hmm. It's that coordinated feeling of being in the army. I got this guy to my left, this guy to my right. We might not be the best players, or hell, we might be the best players. But goddamn it, we're going down together. And I know what they're going to do. I know what they're going to do. So let's just see how many badass 80 bow idiots we can take on. And that's what Cyrodiil gives me. As much as I hate Cyrodiil, as much as I bitch about Zerging, as much as I don't like some of the balance, as much as this and that, it's still just a big ass organic PvP Royal Rumble. And I'll never forget the day I saw Havoc Guild. 8 people tanking a faction. I'm like, what? I mean, they were moving like little robots. Like, I mean, the coordination they had, it was like synchronized swimming in ESO. And they were nuking, I kid you not, 60 DC Puglets. I'm like, I'm going to be that someday. Little baby Delty was like, I want to be that someday. And that's what I love about Cyrodiil, is that if you're a good player, not necessarily the best, but you're a good player, you really developed your skill, you put a lot of time into your build, you can do things that would blow people away. And I'm not talking about sitting there hitting elemental blockade and force pulse and macroing your attack. I'm talking about reacting and going freaky crazy on 60 people. And that's what this game gives me, is that it's not fair. And so when I get Zerg down, 20 people teabag me, I get butthurt about it, and I get mad about it. But when 3 of us take out 20 people, it's just it might happen once a month. It might happen once. When it happens, it's spectacular. So that's what I love.
Yeah. Wohler brought up a good point in your chat there, Deltia. There's another side to the trial story, which is, he says, quote, "Let me play how I want, but still carry me." That's a problem. That's an absolute problem. And it does hold people back. If they want to see trials, that, Bobo Magic and Khajiit's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. And, one of the premises of my guild is that I'm never, ever going to ask somebody for a certain parse, a minimum parse to get into the guild. And I'll give them a chance in normal trials. But at the same time, there's an expectation that they need to understand that if they want to progress, that we may have to change what people are doing in terms of DPS or how they're set up, or, the gear they're running and stuff like that. So
but then it become more interesting, because, sorry to interrupt you, I'm jumping on your argument. It become more interesting because it's not just min-maxing because you want to be the best, it's because you want to be the best element for your team. So there's discussion with the rest of the team. Maybe you could do this, and maybe if you had that gear it would be better, and you have the feeling to contribute. And if it's done nicely, it's not, oh wow, you do bad DPS. It's nice. It's taking negative behavior and transforming it into something positive, and it's a lot more motivating.
And that's that's what we're trying to do. But the one thing that, when it comes to like the trials and the DPS parses, that a lot of guilds are asking for and whatnot, is there's a valid reason for that. The Wisp Mother boss in Aetherian Archive, if you don't have the DPS to get those copies down in a timely manner, you're not getting through it. There's a DPS check there. You're just not getting through it. So when it comes to people who are...
That's true. But you got also, there's tiers, right? There's vet. So if you want to be veteran or level rate, all right, you got to come correct. Mm-hmm. You got to have the right amount of stone. You got to have gold gear. You have spell power potions. If you're not willing to spend the money on it, the time invested, get out. But normal trials is a little more forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's why, again, we're not asking, I'm not asking people for a 30k DPS parse. I'm not asking for a parse at all. Come to the normal trials with us anyway. But when we get to where I'm pushing for vet completes, I need to bring people along that I know are contributing enough to that fight. And I'm never going to give people shit for their DPS, but I will say, hey, we need to step aside and figure out how to perform better.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, what Wooler brought up was that, there's people out there that say Zoss says that I can play how I want and carry me, and in normals, sure,
that's a good point.
In normals, sure, but in vet trials, you can't do that. You can't do that at all. So,
this is an interesting point, and this is something that I always try to say to everyone, because a lot of people are stressing with their builds and say, come on, you're just doing random content, veteran dungeon, the normal veteran dungeon. It's okay. The difficulty of the game do not ask you to be the best and to follow the best builds, and just relax. If you're not doing PvP, and if you're not doing veteran trial, you do not need to do that. Just relax, enjoy, find out what's worked for you, and don't give a crap about everything else. But if you want to be better, I will say, go watch Celtia's guide, is doing cool stuff.
Well, here's the thing about builds. It's like, I make builds for the average player. I've never said this is the number one best build of all time. And here's why. Cool. If you get the number one best build of all time, I probably can't play it, and you sure as hell can't play it. Meaning, there's people that sit there and beat on parses for 8 hours a day like they're professional athletes. So you got to realize the 1% builds, you can pick it up, you can wear the same exact dress, clothes, Drew wax, gold it out, everything. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Simple it down, learn what works for you, survive, and move on. And I think people get too caught up on what the 1%ers are doing and see, oh God, they have this, they have this. Dude, do 2 dots and a spammable. Start there, okay? And then work your way on, because I'm not the best at it at all. But anyways, all right. So we ran. This could be a good topic for a show, though.
Exactly. And
the title will be "Will Sig carry Deltia's DPS through a trial?"
And
all right, last thing, quick. Last thing. Ready?
Which last things? Tell me.
So what's our plan for ESO? Like, what are we gonna do? So not like what's coming, but like what are we doing? So Aloha, you kick it off.
Well, I'm going to continue to play exactly the way I want to play, following my mood and following what I enjoy the most, because I'm playing ESO to have fun. I will continue to provide reviews on houses and DLC, because I enjoy to provide that kind of content, and the ESO news, because I like the community. I also will continue to organize community events, because that's fun, and other than that, I'm just going to play like a tourist with my weird builds that maybe will never work. Doing and enjoying the story content of this game, because the stories are amazing and they don't need a good build at all.
Put puncturing sweeps on your bar and click it. That's what I tell people if you're leveling them. All right, Sig, you still growing the guild, and that's kind of your thing?
Yeah, we're still growing, and right now I've got my sights set on getting some vet clears for the guild. So I'm working on trying to figure out what those next steps are, because we've been in vet AA a couple times, and I've seen the pain. So gotta figure some stuff out there. But outside of that, my short term with ESO is there's still a lot of single player or not single player but quest content in the game that I haven't seen. I'd like to get a bunch of that stuff done. I haven't done Clockwork City at all yet, And outside of the first zone in the AD faction, I haven't seen any of that stuff.
Oh man,
ever.
Some
outside
of
of like
them
running
are really
through.
Good. Some of the stories are really good, actually.
Yeah, that's what I heard, but it's full of Altmer and
hippie stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't roll that way, but I've been spending a lot of time here recently trying to figure out the Mage Blade thing. The rotation is a lot different. I've spent the last year pretty much 100% on a Magicka DK build, and the Magicka Nightblade plays so much differently from the way I play my MDK that I'm struggling with it. I got all the gear. I've got the right setup. It's that rotation that's killing me right now. So I've been working on that a lot.
Sigrid,
we'll continue to. But,
can we say that now you do not play only Sigrid the Axe, but also Pretty Dunmer Girl?
I played Pretty Dunmer Girls because
you dress up with sexy clothes?
I didn't like the way the Dunmer male looked, and he didn't look like my character. So I made a Dunmer female, and what can you do? Yeah, it's my favorite character. I enjoy the hell out of it.
Do you have lipstick though? Let's be real. Do you have lipstick on your character?
I do have lipstick. Yeah.
Okay.
I put it on just for you, Deltia. Just put it on just for you. But so been doing that, and Deltia, I've actually got a couple Stam characters that are red guards, believe it or not. Haven't played a whole lot of them yet because I'm still, it's hard for me to break away from the MDK because as tough as it is, as much love as that class needs, I really enjoy playing it. So it's been hard for me to do other stuff, but
yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, my Magic Templar is just, it's gutted, but I get on it, it feels like home. And when I wasn't playing this game, I'm like, God damn it, I want to repent in something. Walking around the back of my house, there's a dead squirrel. Weird, repentance ain't working. I just wanted to repent something. But as far as my plans, I mean, when I was the most satisfied with the game it wasn't being Emperor, it wasn't being good or bad or whatever. It was just being helpful. I mean, I would like to spend some time invested in like training people in the guild, whether it's PvP or PvE. The best time I had, and we were bad. We were little puglets and 20 deep Zergers. But when our guild took over a PvP campaign, we won it. We did a lot of death flopping, believe me, but we did it. We won the campaign. Every little person had a role and an important job, whether it was go solo their resource and get us 1 point or whatever. That was about community, and like that's what I want this game to be more about. Is like the reason I play an MMO is to do something together with people for a common goal. That's why I joined the army, right? A little more crazy, but same sort of thing. Was like, what can we do? What can one person can do only so much, but another one, 3, 4, 5, right? And so this game needs something like guild incentives. I keep going back to Star Wars, and hold on there. Say whatever you want about Star Wars: The Republic. It got a lot of flaws. Damn it. You can do stuff with your guild that gives you incentives to be in a guild and do things. Not just a roster of, hey, who wants to go do this dungeon? Hey, who wants to go PvP? You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I wish there was incentive for guilds, guild ships, guild capitals, guild housing, stuff like that, because it's missing community, in my opinion. Aloha, you're about to jump in on me.
Yeah, I think that will be a very nice topic for the next times, where people can, vote on the things. But next week, what we are talking about?
Next week was the poll that won was what's coming in. Speculate. Okay. I think it's gonna be guild. Maybe.
Just Deltia just cut. So.
Yeah, you cut out.
Yeah, I cut out. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. It wasn't on purpose. I didn't mean to do. But yeah, what's coming in ESO in 2018? What we're gonna speculate on now. We're gonna have to change the time up. Of course, the second episode. We're gonna change the time up to 11 a.m. Central Standard.
Which is. It's 18 Central Europe time.
Yeah, so I have something going on in the afternoon. We gotta do a photo shoot, baby. Gamer to Gym Brat's about done. I can eat like a normal. Hey. So anyways, what's coming in ESO, and then we'll have a poll within that that will be in the upper little corner that you can click on and vote. So look for those topics, and we'll bring them up for next episode. So
Awesome.
Yeah. So
that was
guys,
good. It's good to be back.
yes, high five, guys.
Best day of my life.
It's like a truck. Big build, bro.
So thank you, all of you, to have watched this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you enjoyed, push thumb ups and share and speak about it with all your friends. You invite your family next time.
Tell your mom. Tell your mom.
Grandma.
Yeah, on YouTube for the channel of Delta, or Twitch TV for my channel, and voila, yay! And
Thanks,
so,
Jen.
if
Do
you
it, do it.
if you stay here for relaxation on the Sunday, you're welcome to just relax.
Just relax. You gotta do it though. You gotta do it. The timeout.
Time out.
All right.
guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you.